Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Car Addict, and I'm going to work on my intake temps a little more today. And I think the plan, I'm going to go out and drive, obviously, and because I think my modification should be really quick. So I'm going to go out, drive, see the temps, come back, do it, go out and drive, and see the temps, and it'll be like same exact conditions. Anyways, I'll show you where I plan on taking out the grill in a second, but I'm just curious if anybody else has done this on their car yet. I've done it on other ones, but I'm talking about the coolant bypass for the throttle body. Somebody commented on one of my videos and said they did it, and it improved their intake temps noticeably, and I was thinking, well, how is that possible? Because our intake temp sensor is in the charge pipe, not in the manifold. So, I was looking at the car. I also looked at his video. He's on a Honda Fit, so a whole different setup. But anyways, I was looking at it, and it would be really easy to do. You could see that shiny part, the coolant pipe coming right there, like right above my finger, that gray area. That's the hose clamp for a line that goes, probably won't come across. Let's see if I can reach back in there. You can see my fingers. There's a line right here that comes from the coolant pipe into the throttle body, it looks like, and one comes back out of it into a bung that's cast right into the head. So it'd be pretty easy to, well, I'd have to take this stuff up a little bit, get out of the way, but you can just take both hoses off and take the one coming out of the coolant pipe, loop it right back to the block, and take the one from the throttle body, loop it back right to itself. And obviously the temperature should lower. And around here, I don't have to worry about freezing up, I don't think. I mean, possibly in the worst parts of winter, but most of the time, not really. And I guess whether or not it did help cool the air would always be a benefit. However, you wouldn't really get the tuning benefit of it because you wouldn't be measuring that colder air, and the ECU wouldn't be adjusting for it. But it might be so nice to have, so I may do that one of these days. But for now, so when you're walking up with the car, there's those half little vent areas. You can't even see them. These first row that are solid, they're pretty much a shadow, so they almost look darker than all these anyways. Same thing here. So I think I'm gonna open up those three and those three at least. That way when you're walking at the car, you won't even tell they're hollowed out. And if I can find a bit small enough, I'll probably hollow out those little half ones up there as well. That's not a ton of opening for air, but it should help a little bit. We'll see. Alright, and before we go drive, I had a commenter ask me if I thought that the IAT2 and the IAT1 would have a one-to-one relationship as far as temperature drops. So if you drop your intake temps 20 degrees, does your post intercooler temps drop 20 degrees? I didn't think so, just because of the fact that the closer you get to ambient, the temperature differential between ambient, the air going across the intercooler, and the air going through the intercooler is going to be less, so less cooling should take place. And I had a problem when I was going to show you guys the data, because I was going to load it into datazap.me so I'd have a nicer, colorful graph to show you guys that it does or doesn't happen. But when I got it in there, IAT2 didn't exist. So, went back into KTuner. Same thing. In their line graph, when you right click and go through to add or remove data streams, IAT2 is missing. So the only way you can do it is to click and drag the mouse across the line graph, and then down in the numerical values where it lists all the stuff on the right side, I could look at IAT2 while I was doing it. So roughly this is what I got. Before I changed the intake, it was low 70s to low 80s is pretty much where the intake sat. IAT2 was usually 5 to 15 degrees lower. So the result, most of the IAT2s were low to mid 60s. Then afterwards, the intake temps were basically
mid-high 60s. Usually 5 to 10 degrees cooler. So before there was 15 degrees of cooling sometimes, now it's usually only 10 was the highest. And actually on the before, there was a lot more of the double-digit cooling than there was on the after. So it brought me down to average of high 50s for the IAT2. So really, when I dropped my intake from 30 degrees to 15 or so I lost 15 degrees of intake temp, I really only lost about an average of 7 or 8 degrees of the IAT2, which still is nice. So I'm not really sure now if I can get the temperatures all the way to ambient. Maybe I can get my IAT2s in the high 40s. I highly doubt it, especially I don't even know what temperature it is right now. It is not on. It is 53, so we are not getting any temperature in the 40s on either side. Alright, so yesterday I did all of the tests just driving around town because that's where it seemed to usually always have my highest intake temps. We're driving slow because there's not a lot of air going through the intercooler, and then you also don't have much air going through the intake itself. So everything seems to just get hotter there than regular, like, freeway driving. So anyways, today the way I'm going to do it is I'm driving around town to let it normalize a little bit. Right now I'm actually 21 degrees over because I've been sitting at lights and stop signs and stuff a lot. But like here, as I start moving, see how long it takes again. Another red light. So anyways, I'm going to try to get it to where it wants to settle driving around town, and then I'm going to get on the freeway on-ramp. I plan on making wide open runs for the test between, I don't want to call it ram air because it's not really, but now the filter has to source air from little cracks and crevices here and there, little openings, where next, after I do my modification, air will just be coming straight through the grill, right at the filter, bam, it's there. So in a second we get on the freeway and we will see what happens. From 25 miles an hour, it's in 68 now in third. Let's see if it holds. Nope, just spins. Alright, let's try fourth gear, 43 miles an hour. 70 degrees. Let's see if now that we're going a little bit quicker, maybe third gear will hold it. Let's turn off the radio so we don't get a copyright strike too. Alright, so third gear, 66 degrees, 4 grand. Let's see if we get on it at 65 and 6th. Alright, so now I'm going to go home, open up the grill, and see how much it's different. I'm going to assume the IAT will vary a lot more than the IAT2, because I'm going to assume the air going through the intercooler is not going to change temperature. The air coming out of the turbo into the intercooler should drop a little bit, but I don't think it will drop 1-to-1 with the intake temperatures dropping. So that's my hypothesis anyways, that's my guess. I think IAT will drop significantly, IAT2 will drop a little, but let's see. Place your bets. The winner gets nothing. So now, for these little ones up top, I don't have a burr bit with a fine enough point, so I'm gonna have to use my high-speed drill and hope with a regular drill bit I'll have enough control to get them.
And then I'm going to take a little bit bigger drill bit for the corners of these, an even bigger one to haul out the middle, and then come in it with the bit, bring it around to the edges, and then file it smooth when I'm done. So let's see how it's going to work. I'm going to hose this shit off because I was going to blow it with air, but I figured if I use air I'll blow it right into the filter. So if I just use water, hopefully it'll just run out. Alright, so the light sucks, so you can't really see very good, but walking up at it, you can't see it until you get to about right. Even here, it just looks like shadows. If the sun is low, shining into those holes, then you'll probably tell they're open, but right about here at eye level, just looks like shadows, and then from here you can't even see them anyways. Get down here, it's pretty obvious, but anyways, there's what the final looks like. So now let's go run the same tests and see if the intake temps are much lower. Alright, well, that didn't really take that long. It's not that much later, even though it's that much darker. It just gets dark pretty early around here still. Anyways, so I also just now tried to do something, which is use my laptop to log a little bit, and it still, you can add intake temp. You cannot add intake air temp 2. So mysteriously for now, you cannot log IAT2. I'm gonna have to ask them about that because why not? It's helpful. Well, damn. We are in after work traffic. I got the 4th gear pull done on the on-ramp like last time, and I don't think the grill helped at all.